Hello everyone and welcome to this battle between IndyCar and Formula One, two of the fastest and the most prominent racing series in the whole of the motorsport calendar. Two series that for years now have always been fighting over which one of the two are truly better, which one is more fun to watch, which one's faster in a straight line, which one is better in a single lap. Well, today I decided to conduct an experiment to see really who truly is the fastest car in all those categories. So, without further ado, let's begin with the qualifying pace. Okay, so we've got the IndyCar on the left and the Formula One car on the right. I should be noting that I'm using the Assetto Corsa game to be able to simulate what the two cars are able to perform against each other during this test. Look at the IndyCar just sliding a lot more. The F1 car's got so much more downforce going through the essence of Road Atlanta, which is the track we are using for this test today. Riding on board now with the F1 car, which is just so much better balanced, and it's able to ride through the curbs so much easier than the IndyCar, although I went a little wide there. I should note that I'm using the T300 RS Thrustmaster wheel with the Formula One F1 add-on to go with it, and we're just riding on board now with the IndyCar. Now the IndyCar assumably has the fastest straight line speed of these two cars, but we'll test that out in a moment. Meanwhile, the F1 car is just about to enter the final corner of the Road Atlanta circuit, and he crosses the line with a 1 minute 01.79, which is a pretty impressive lap if you consider the situation. And meanwhile, the Indy car does a 1 minute 9 flat, which is almost it's about 7 seconds and 3 tenths off the Formula One car, which, well, it's not surprising considering the Indy car is heavier, has a lot less downforce, and overall it's just not made for these type of circuits. But to be honest, it's still pretty quick for single-seater standards. So let's move on over to the straight line speed test. Okay, so this challenge might be a little trickier for the F1 car to win because the Indy car can reach incredible top speeds of over 230 miles per hour, and in this case, it reaches an amazing top speed of 194 miles an hour. That's pretty damn good considering we're using the back straight of Road Atlanta. Let's see what the F1 car can do. Oh, it can reach around 190, but it did peak to 191. So, for all intents and purposes, we'll just say that it reached 191 and that the Indy car is actually 3 miles an hour faster. Now, that makes sense considering the Indy car has a much more powerful V6 turbo, a 2.2-liter V6 turbo in comparison to the 1.6-liter V6 turbo that the Formula One car has, despite the fact of having ERS and a bunch of other gizmos. So, the winner of this round goes to the Indy car. Okay, so for this challenge, we're going to spice things up. The challenge is really to overtake as many cars as possible, which will show us just how good some of these cars are to overtake and which one is better. And the one who scores the most overtakes in a single race wins. And that you lose points for every time you lose position. And that start was pretty crazy in the IndyCar. We'll start off with the IndyCar first. It's a 2-lap race, 20 cars, and so far I'm going into the inside, just out of T1 into turn 3 right now, if you count the kink on the left. And I'm already up into 14, but I made a mistake. I think I hit someone in the rear, and the orange and blue car that looks a lot like Fernando Alonso's Indy 500 car goes way past me. And the car just feels very heavy, very stiff. You know, it's really hard to really control it, but it looks like the difference here between what I can see from driving most normal single-seater cars or F1 cars, which I'm more used to, is that you can follow more. You can chase cars better. You're rewarded for taking a little bit more risks coming out of the corners. They have a bit more grip. Degradation is a lot lower, and it just feels a lot easier. Let's see if we can make this overtake on the Fernando Alonso car, diving into the inside of the 200-meter board, which is really weird in these cars, and I just passed perfectly. You know, with the Formula One car, I'm able to break deep into the 100-meter boards. With the Indy cars, I just can't. I simply cannot do that, and I seal off the overtake by passing Fernando perfectly, coming out of the chicane, the penultimate chicane, before the last corner. And now the rest of the race kind of just sort of dies down at this point. So currently right now I have about like 6 overtakes, and it doesn't really seem like I'm going to be improving anytime soon, just because it's so hard to keep these cars chasing each other, and that the gap just widened up a bit too much after my collision at the start. So there's really no overtaking opportunity at this point. I can't really chase the last guy out, and I finish 14th and overtake 6 cars. So right now, the IndyCar, even though we're level head right now, is so far heading the overtake challenge. Now, Formula 1 cars. A lot of people complaining that F1 cars you can't overtake. Let's find out if I can. Well, I can. There's a lot. How many cars I've passed now? I'm up to 16th, 15th, 14th, 13th. I suspect 12. Do I get 11? Nope, I slide. I almost cut someone off, but I'm up into 13th position. Can I pass the car on the outside? Yes, I do. I seal off the overtake. It was perfect. And then for some reason, a car just perfectly ricochets off from well, not a slight tap, a pretty aggressive tap by me. And I make a little mistake here. Run a little bit too wide. No, perfectly wide. Let's see if I can pass the 10th place car, the blue car. I don't know what I'm going to call it. I'll just call it the Causey Machine. And named after someone I know. Complete meme master. Passing in, just can't pass him. It's really hard to do. He's got DRS on. I do have DRS on as well. I should mention that all these cars, I set them on complete default, even to the time trial and the speed trap challenge, which I should have mentioned before, and I just can't pass him. I'm just for some reason quite slow. It's very hard to follow these other cars. The cars become very dirty in the overtaking air, so it becomes really challenging to get up into a certain position, and pretty much the race stays pretty much the same up until this point. Let's see if I can be a little bit aggressive in turn 1. Look how much closer I get to the Causey Machine, but even then, even though I get really close, I make a slight mistake, too much wheel spin from the rear, and I just lose a few tenths, and then this breaks the momentum, and then I'm just back up chasing, and it's just one big grind all the way into the finish. And let's cut to that. I break a little bit deep, and something surprising happens here. I make a slight mistake, but all of a sudden the AI, who are on 100% right now, he just passes me on the inside, so I lose an overtake position, and I pass 8 cars, which means that the overall winner of the IndyCar versus F1 challenge is the Formula 1 car. In all honesty though, probably in real life it wouldn't be portrayed like that. I should mention that this F1 car also hasn't got the halo, which would be a lot quicker, and also the new Indy car that came out is also quicker. I just didn't have the right mods to really, you know, use that at that period of time, but it doesn't matter. The F1 car, at least for now, has won this challenge. And that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see an equivalent series battle, please leave a comment in the comment section below. And who knows, I might be actually doing it. I was thinking of doing maybe a GT versus prototype series, or maybe do a Formula 2 versus Indy Lights challenge. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts and feelings. Until then, that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.